Welcome back, Devils fans, and I am here to simply show my appreciation. I am here to show my appreciation for a man who was nearly tarred and feathered by a large percentage of our fan base earlier on in the season, while he was injured, while he was still trying to find his way, while he was still adjusting to being on a new club on the East Coast. This video is a Timo Meier appreciation video, and we are entitling it Timo Meier March Madness. Now, as a lot of you know, I have been defending Mr. Timo Meier all season long. I've been a big fan of his. I was ecstatic when we traded for him, and a lot of you, for whatever reason, did not really afford him the chance to get adjusted, fight through his injury, etc., and we're calling for his head super early this season. And I fought many of you in the comments and yada yada, people in real life, friends that I have text messaging me, and all these things. And I felt like I have been Timo Meier's defense lawyer all season long. And I am so glad once March rolled around, he proved to all of us exactly why we traded for him and exactly why he earned the contract that we gave him this summer, because Timo Meier is an absolute animal. He is an absolute animal, and we're going to go through the month of March for Mr. Timo Meier.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Timo Meier. What a March of 2024 Mr. Timo Meier had for our New Jersey Devils. Finally, probably recovering from the nagging injury, which kept him out of the lineup for a while. I believe he was fighting through it for much of, the season after he returned. But we're just going to take a look at Timo Meier's March Madness and what a month of March it was for Timo. We start off March 1st, and perhaps, which was one of the ugliest losses and one of the many blown opportunities for the New Jersey Devils on this season. On March 1st, we lose in Anaheim 4-3, and Timo registers a goal. This one, circle it on the calendar. This is going to be one of the many opportunities you look back at and say, wow, if we only could have won that game, and there's a million cases of this throughout the season, but that's one that'll forever stick out in my mind when we narrowly missed the playoffs. Had we found a way to win that game in Anaheim against a pretty bad Ducks team, this season could have went differently for us. But I digress. March 1st, Timo Meier registers a goal, his first one in the month of March, in a 4-3 loss to the Ducks. And this was a painful West Coast trip. On March 3rd, we lose by a score of 5-1 to the LA Kings, in which we were absolutely embarrassed. The lone goal for the Devils coming from Mr. Timo Meier. And then we go to March 5th. March 5th, we return home to face the Panthers. Lindy Ruff is fired the day before on Monday, March 4th. And in Travis Green's first game behind the bench as the interim head coach for the New Jersey Devils, we lose another one by a score of 5-3 to the Florida Panthers. And Timo registers another goal in that game. Another game where we were right there with the Panthers and we were, getting the better of them for long stretches of play, but we just couldn't get it together. And another devastating loss for this Devils club on March 5th. Timo registers a goal. And then 2 days later on March 7th at the Prudential Center against the Blues, Timo just explodes, records the hat trick with an assist for a 4-point night in a 4-1 win over the Blues. Timo Meier, 4 points. And after that night, I think a lot of people, a lot of the haters started to come around and say, okay, this guy's off to a pretty good March. Like, maybe all those things were true. Maybe he wasn't being utilized properly, being played at left wing instead of right wing. Maybe he does deserve power play time. Maybe he should have been on power play 1 the whole time. And these are all things that when it finally all came together, playing on the right side, getting power play time, Timo started to produce like an animal. 3 goals and an assist in a 4-1 win over the Blues on March 7th. And then a couple days later in another bitter 4-2 loss to the Hurricanes, Timo registers yet another goal for the Devils in the loss. And then the first game in March, we go to the March 11th, one that many of us will never forget due to Matt Rempe and his cheap shot antics. We lose 3-1 at the Garden. Timo does not register a point. It's the first time he was held pointless in the month of March on March 11th in that horrific Ranger loss. And, there's a lot we could talk about and have talked about regarding the Rangers, that game, Matt Rempe and all that. And we'll have some more videos coming up about all that in the next day or so. But painful 3-1 loss to the Rangers at the Garden. And then we fast forward a few days later at Dallas. In a 6-2 victory, Timo registers a goal and an assist, a multi-point night for Mr. Timo Meier in Dallas before the ugly 4-1 loss to the Coyotes on the road trip. Completely another painful one, and another squandered opportunity for the Devils, losing in front of a few thousand people on a college campus to a bad Coyotes team. And we all know the Devils this year just played up to the competition, played down to the competition. That was another example of that. Timo held scoreless in that one. And then the next day in Vegas, another painful game and a wasted good start from Jake Allen. Another game that we could have easily won had anything gone our way. A 3-1 loss to the Golden Knights. That's another one that will stick out in my memory as just a blown opportunity for 2 points. And another painful loss to the Devils. Timo does not register a point in that one. And then we go to the 19th. A 5-2 win over the Penguins, who desperately needed points as well in that matchup. Timo with 2 goals in the 5-2 win on March 19th. And then 2 days later against the Jets at home in a 4-1 win. Timo with a goal and 2 assists for another multi-point game. And the month of Meier continues on. The 23rd, we lose to the Sens 5-2. Another absolutely painful loss. Timo held off the score sheet in that one. And then the very next day, a massive 4-0 victory over the Islanders on the island, which Timo registers a goal and an assist for yet another multi-point game. And then 2 days later again, in a 6-3 win over the Leafs, Timo with another goal and an assist, another multi-point game, before finally closing out the month in which may be the most painful loss of the season yet. A 5-2 loss at the hands of the Sabres in Buffalo. Timo registers an assist in that one. And when we look back at Timo's March Madness, he finished with 13 goals and 7 assists for 20 points. A 20-point month for Timo Meier in 15 games, averaging well over a point a game for the month of March, finishing number one in goals for in the entire National Hockey League with 13 goals, leading the entire league for the month of March. And his 20 points puts him at 10th in the entire National Hockey League. And there you see the guys above him there. For the month of March, Timo finishing 10th with 20 points. And he had points in 11 of the 15 Devils games in the calendar month of March. He had 6 multi-point games, and 2 of his goals were of the game-winning variety. 2 game-winning goals for Timo Meier in the month of March. And I'm not here to kind of rub your faces in it. It's just that, with a lot of the hatred and venom that Timo was getting all season long, I felt like it was necessary and it's just something I needed to do to show our appreciation as a fan base. Timo Meier is an absolute animal. He's finally healthy. He's finally being used the way he should be. And this is the type of player we got when Tom Fitzgerald went out and acquired Timo Meier. And we're finally starting to see it. Unfortunately, this tear probably came a little bit too late. And who knows what could have been had these changes been made earlier in the season. But for whatever reason, Lindy Ruff did not feel the need to put him on right wing or on power play 1. And I think we suffered kind of as a result of that. But he's being utilized properly now. He's showing signs and the type of player he is capable of being for us. And I think he's going to be a huge part of this core group for the years to come. So hopefully Timo carries this into the rest of this season. Hopefully some of these games mean something. The teams in front of us continue to suck and just agonize and prolong this whole playoff wild dream that a lot of us have. And hopefully he finishes the year strong and carries it into next season. But Timo's an absolute monster. I was never worried. And for those of you, if you would like to, be an adult about it and own up to your early judgments, you can always deposit your apologies in the comments. We're taking Timo apologies for the rest of the year. throw it out in the comments. It's okay. No one can be right 100% of the time. Apologize to Timo in the comments if you were one of the haters. And I hope a lesson learned going forward is that people are not so, or I hope at least people are not so quick to judge trades or signings so early on. Meaning I kept saying, we were at the halfway point of the season and people were, Timo's a bust and talking all this smack. I said, guys, we are 1/16 of the way, meaning half of the first season of an 8-year deal. So for the overall contract, we were 1/16 of the way through the contract, and people were talking all this garbage and that it was a bust and we should have never did it. So if nothing else, I hope people learn, give it some time before you make a judgment and start talking smack, because he was injured. He wasn't being used properly. It took some time for everything to come together, but we're seeing what he's capable of bringing now, and hopefully he continues to bring this for us for years to come, and hopefully is a big part of the New Jersey Devils hoisting a Lord Stanley Cup very soon. Very soon. We can only hope, but he will be a big part of it. Let me know what you guys thought about Timo's month of March, his March Madness. Let me know what you thought about that in the comments. Anything else Devils related? Obviously, you can deposit your apologies to Timo in the comments. Anything else Devils related? We got a couple big games coming up this week, and I'll be here talking to you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.